your man.
Really on the motherfucking beat.
Hey, yo, Karen, get your man.
This isn't new. Injustice didn't start with us, but it will end with us. We are the echo of every cry that was silenced. We are the encore of every protest that shook the ground. We are not here to ask. We are here to remind the world we were born with the right to breathe, to live, to rise. Protests are poetry, speeches are sermons, and songs are sacred scripture. We don't just resist, we rebuild. We don't just mourn, we mobilize. We don't just break, we break through. Because change isn't a moment, it's a movement. And revolutions, they don't start in silence. They start with voices like ours. Every name we say, every truth we tell, every step we take is a step closer to freedom. So let the world hear us. Let the system see us. Let the future thank us. This isn't the end. This is the encore. And we're just getting started. As I look around today, my heart aches. It pains me to hear, see, feel the effects of the state of the world right now. Currently, it's May 2025, and we as a people faced with a smorgasbord of obstacles and predicaments.
Fortunately, I don't feel like we're living at a time in which these representatives, whether they're senators or House members, are listening to their constituents. If you listen to your constituents, then you will hear pain. And that pain is spread across the political spectrum. Whether you're a Democrat, Republican, or independent, the cuts that you talked about, they are going to impact everyone. And it's interesting, as we are going through reconciliation, we had a reconciliation markup in oversight as well as judiciary, so I had a very long night on Wednesday. And to listen to them, the things that they were not willing to say that they were okay with cutting, or the things that they were willing to cut, right? It's absolutely insane. And I have to tell you that the House budget Democrats have made sure that we have every single district listed out with the amount of people that will be impacted by the Medicaid cuts, with the amount of people that will be impacted by the SNAP cuts. But you even went a lot deeper there. And here's the reality. You said that he wants there to be a portion of the budget that goes up to $1 trillion on the defense side. And when we look at defense, you know who can't pass a clean budget or a clean audit? It's defense. They have failed the very last 7 audits. So why would they continue to get raises, which they always do, yet we're going to hurt the most vulnerable amongst us?
Yeah, and they're saying that it's targeted. It's for certain programs at the Pentagon. It wouldn't just be to boost overall spending. But I still think it's a good question in terms of what that looks like. But do you think the president will get what he wants here from Republicans? I mean, what is your sense of watching your colleagues across the aisle?
It seems like they do whatever he wants them to do at all times, right? Like behind closed doors, they will talk about how these things are crazy. You can find plenty of Republicans that will tell you that these tariffs are a problem. They will tell you that, and they know that it's a problem. This is why they don't want to go out and listen to their constituents by having town halls. This is exactly why, if you tune in and watch any of these hearings, when it comes down to marking up these bills where these cuts are supposed to be, you know who won't even defend them? The Republicans. We sat in hours and hours and hours of in listening to amendments as we were going through the markups. And every time we started calling out specific Republicans and said, Congressman such and such, what do you think? And they literally were silent. It was almost like they were told, don't say anything because we can't win. We just have to vote down these common sense amendments and get through this because this is what we've been told to do.
Wake up and I see that the big ugly tax bill has passed in the House. The tax bill that is going to cut Medicaid, Medicare, food stamps, just kill people. This bill is just going to kill people and take away the things that they need just to live, just to survive, right? And I know I've been covering the vote this week. I've also been doing my day job because I do still, thankfully, have a day job at the FDA, right? And this video is me speaking in my personal capacity, not on behalf of the FDA. But I'm going to talk about everything that's going on when it comes to attacking healthcare in this country, because I feel like there's so much crazy shit that we're forgetting about the dismantling of the federal agencies, and that's still going on. Okay, so I'm going to talk about just the FDA, and I want you to remember they're slashing and burning all of the Department of Health and Human Services while also taking away health care from 14 million Americans. Okay, the FDA at its full capacity has 18,000 employees. It is located in Maryland. It is not the largest health care or public health employer in Maryland. It's actually Johns Hopkins. Johns Hopkins, which is one hospital system here, and it has about 30,000 employees by comparison. The FDA's 18,000 employees, that is all 50 states internationally, and that is to regulate 20% of this country's GDP. You want to talk about economy? It's $5 trillion. And it costs about $3 billion in taxpayer money to fund the FDA. So you're talking about $3 billion to get a $5 trillion return on investment. And it's not just about money, right? It's about lives too. So because of the slashing and burning of the FDA workforce, which was already running crazy efficient with the staff that they had, they needed to increase employees at the FDA, not decrease, okay? But yeah, so they have cut so many staff that the Center for Drug Evaluation and Research cannot properly communicate drug safety information. There's not enough people to do the work to make sure that drugs are safe and effective. The Human Foods Program, that's like, they regulate the food. FDA regulates 80% of the food in this country, okay? They just went in and cut a bunch of people, including folks who make sure baby formula is safe. And not only did they cut those people who make sure baby formula is safe and go after bad actors, they put this guy, Kyle Diamantis, in charge of HFP, okay? He's not a scientist, not a public health professional, not a doctor. He's an attorney who represented the baby food companies when they were accused of not properly disclosing the elevated risk of a deadly bowel disease in premature babies. He defended them against that, and now he's in charge of the safety. And so I just want to put this out there this morning and remind folks of all the ways that the Republican Party is just gonna kill Americans. Like, they're really just trying to kill working class people.
Try to see it from the opposite side. Black woman dead, white cop is alive. 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 No crime committed at the time he arrived. Cell phones corded, but the body can die.
United States Secretary of Homeland Security. Thank you, President Donald J. Trump, for securing our border and putting America first. Let me deliver a message from President Trump to the world. If you are considering entering America illegally, don't even think about it. Let me be clear. If you come to our country and you break our laws, we will hunt you down. Criminals are not welcome in the United States. For too long, weak leadership has left our borders wide open, flooding our communities with drugs, human trafficking, and violent criminals. Well, those days are over. Under President Trump, we are defending American families and restoring their safety. If you try to enter illegally, you will be caught, you will be removed, and you will never return. Follow the law, and you'll find opportunity. If you break it, you'll find consequences. Strong borders mean a stronger America. President Trump is making America safe again.
Hello, citizens. America is back.
The administration says that they are going after what they call the worst first, individuals who are in this country illegally but have a known criminal record.
President Trump has deported dozens of known terrorists already through all of your work. Hundreds and hundreds of TDA members and MS-13 members and gang members that he has declared foreign terrorist organizations.
And the message that the border is closed is being heard so clearly by would-be illegals right now.
Blessed and grateful that we have an administration now in office that's going to fight for us.
Refreshing to be here under an administration that truly gets up every day and decides, you know what, today I'm fighting for the American taxpayer. And it's because of President Trump, the fact that he is so firm and so confident, and he wants to uphold the law.
Like, if you want to be president,
Absolutely.
This is what you have to do. You have to keep your promise on the issues particularly that protect American sovereignty and lives.
Hear the voices every street, they're roaring out loud. This is our moment, stand up, be proud. No more division, just unity and peace. The power of love, we're riding our leads. We're rising up, breaking the chains.
It was another great week here at DHS, so let's get into it. In Springfield, Illinois, Secretary Noem called on Governor Pritzker to put an end to his disastrous sanctuary city policies. Alongside Angel families, she brought the attention to the rapists, murderers, and criminals who have unleashed violence on American citizens, ruined their lives, and have yet to face any consequences. Secretary Noem stands firm with the countless innocent Americans who have fallen victims to alien crime. DHS will bring these perpetrators to justice and will not allow any criminal aliens to roam free in this country. In the state of Florida, Governor DeSantis and I spoke at a press conference about Operation Tidal Wave. Under a 287G agreement, under the authorities of DHS and ICE, we have deputized state and local law enforcement to cooperate in performing arrest, transportation, and the detention of these heinous criminals that are roaming free in our communities. The media continues time and time again to ignore the victims of alien crime. But rest assured, ICE and Secretary Noem will not stop until we continue to use 287G as a force multiplier in order to complete the president's mission of keeping America safe. Also this week, Real ID went into effect starting on May 7th, and it'll be enforced to stop terrorists and keep Americans safe in our own country. 81% of Americans are already Real ID compliant. And finally, a historic announcement came from CBP. Through the new CBP Home app, it is now offering illegal aliens to travel with assistance and a stipend back to their home country through a self-deport mechanism. There remains no reasonable excuse for aliens to stay in our country. By using the CBP Home app, illegal aliens now have a safe way to depart on day one and then potentially come back to pursue the American dream. This is what we've accomplished this week at DHS on our mission to keep America safe.
DHS. So let's get into it. Secretary Noem joined fellow cabinet members for the first meeting of the Anti-Christian Bias Task Force. Led by the Department of Justice, DHS is committed to defending religious freedom across America. The numbers are in, and CBP is leading the way, posting a 99.99% drop in catch-and-release migrants at the border. Thanks to President Trump's leadership in empowering law enforcement to do their jobs, ICE has captured more than 200 terrorists, including one of the most wanted fugitives in India, right here on U.S. soil. While the mainstream media publishes false narratives and peddles sympathy for criminal illegal aliens, DHS is debunking the fake news and protecting Americans. These criminal illegal aliens are not victims of the system. They are threats to our communities, and they will be removed. Secretary Noem stopped by the White House to speak with top podcasts, radio hosts, and members of the new media, spotlighting the department's work to keep Americans safe. And DHS made improvements to the Systematic Alien Verification Entitlement Program, better known as the SAVE database, to combat voter fraud, protect election integrity, and ensure taxpayer-funded benefits only go to American citizens. Under Secretary Noem and President Trump, the world is hearing our message. Living in America is a privilege, not a right. Break our laws, face the consequences. Whether by air, land, sea, or cyberspace, DHS is protecting the homeland and making America safe again. That's a wrap for this week. We'll see you next time as we recap the wins from the first 100 days of the Trump administration.
I was overwhelmed and overloaded with all of the information to the point where I had to redirect and switch up my message. My bleeding heart didn't know how to really inspire or relay the necessary information. And so I wanted to have a conversation and really just pose a question. If the future was in your hands, what would you do? If you had the chance to be the leader of the free world or a world leader, would you take it? And if so, what difference would you make? As I scroll through social media platforms, news articles and outlets, watch the TV, listen to the radio, or interact with almost any app, you see that everything around us is being affected. To better understand how and where we are as a people, as a world, and as a whole, I wanted to gain more insight and evidence, so I began a soft research. So I started with a general, simple Google search. What are the current issues and what's happening now? The world we see today, shaped by conflict, injustice, division, and indifference, was not the dream of those who came before us. We're surrounded by noise, headlines filled with chaos, floods overflowing with sorrow, misery, and silence from those who could speak but choose not to. How many more lives must suffer? How much more must be lost before we say enough? If we don't fight for the future now, for what is rightfully ours, what are we really leaving for our children and the future generations? What kind of world are we creating? This isn't just about policies or politics. This is about people. It's about humanity, and it's about us. We're standing at a crossroads, globally, morally, and spiritually. When the world needed us most, did we act, or did we watch it fall? What legacy are we creating and leaving? What will it cost if we don't act now? If we don't rise now to heal what's broken, confront the truth, and change our course, what kind of world will we leave behind? What will future generations say we did when it mattered most? I realize this can be a complex and loaded question. So a simpler way to think about things would be, what is the most impactful way I can be a contribution and make a difference in today's society? This also brings the question about who is responsible for the future, whose job is it to get in position? Furthermore, how do we, the people, get those people to run for the offices and positions while increasing voter participation? Also, reviewing things in history and currently in their current condition, is it time for a real change? Is it time for a revolution? The question becomes not who will do something, but rather, what will you do? Now, while it still matters, all we can control in life is ourselves and our choices. Trying to change the world all alone can feel impossible. But every step forward is still a step forward. So my AI bestie, Excella, helped me comprise some listicles to help us move forward positively. 1, your voice is your superpower. Advocate and educate on issues, spread awareness on the oppressed, and exercise our fundamental rights to vote. And don't go alone. Take a group of friends, make an event out of it, but encourage others to get out and vote too. 2, invest in change. Donate your time at local centers, sign up for mentorships and aid, networks and programs, invest in educational programs, small businesses, and other organizations doing the groundwork. 3, choose your change. Align your life with choices filled with purpose, such as healthy, sustainable habits, supporting ethical brands and practices while boycotting the companies whose values don't match your own. Be intentional with all your choices, your time, your energy, and your money. 4, connect. Be the change that you want to see. Be a role model for compassion, integrity, and accountability. Be willing and open to having authentic, honest conversations, even the less popular ones. Bridging the gaps between communities. Change begins at the smallest ripples, locally and within. So uplift others around you. 5, create change. Never underestimate the power of creativity and expression. Using every tool, every art form, and every connection, express yourself. Art speaks for the people in ways that words may not be able to impart. Storytelling, testimonies, poetry, literary works, music, visual arts, dancing, and every form of expression. It helps create a safe space for sharing, expressing, and reflects the times and inspires change. When history looks back and reflects, our children and their future generations will ask, what did we do when the world was in chaos? Will we be remembered for our action or our dereliction? Inspiring young generations, the millennials, Gen Zs, and Gen Alphas, and all future generations to come is so powerful. It is one of the most transformative things that can be done. Planting these seeds can shift an entire system. 1, educate for change. Use real-life stories to inspire others. Share all young change makers who have made an impact, who paved the way, made history, and continue to do so. Debunk false narratives that discourage voters, that make them feel insignificant. Show historical references where few votes made a major difference. Creating meaningful and engaging content on relevant platforms, explaining why education and action are vital in relatable ways that resonate. 2, believe in change. Believing is achieving. Knowing that your goals are attainable with supporting evidence like Maxwell Frost, elected to Congress at 25, can help inspire and help the process seem less intimidating. Create and connect with programs offering mentorships and connections to help educate. Strategize, execute, offering guidance through the process and the understanding thereof. 3, be the change. Lead by example. Stand and fight for what you believe. Stand for what is right. By connecting, expressing, sharing, and having the hard conversations, we are beginning to turn the attention to where it needs to be and creating a place for community, inclusion, and a brighter future. To encourage change, inspiration, and spark a revolution, you have to understand why. Understand that fighting social injustice means that you're stepping into the legacy of freedom fighters, artists, and brave storytellers who came before you, who fought so that we have the privileges that we have today. What needs to change now? What are we fighting for, and what are we fighting against? 1, expose the truth. Expose the systems and lies using facts. Injustice is data, trauma, and wrong. Break the silence. Call the issues out head on, all of them, and remain bold, real, and raw. Sharing your truth speaks volumes and often empowers others to do the same. Showing how real people are impacted in real time can help show how urgent change is necessary and how massive the problem actually is, showcasing the realities people are being faced with. 2, foresee the future. Envisioning the possible future and the future we want to have or see can help us stay focused on the goal at hand. We, the people, are stronger together. There is power in the people. Have you ever really just wondered why we couldn't exist harmoniously, peacefully, freely, prosperously, like a global citizen, so to speak? Would it really be so bad if we didn't fight over resources? If everyone shared and worked together to end poverty, to bridge gaps between our neighbors? And could you imagine a world where we didn't have to pay for literally the things that our ancestors were given for free, such as our land, our water, our homes, and our food? A place where every life is cherished, every voice is heard, and there's equity and unity amongst the nations. If more of us came together and bartered, I wondered what type of world and grand sense of community we could create. While researching how to make an impact, I was able to find an app. Have you ever heard of the Global Citizen app? This rewarding app empowers you right from your device, as little or as much as you want. So it offers you opportunities from all over the globe. The goal seems to be ending poverty. The app offers information, education, and the opportunity to take action and show support in numerous ways, absolutely for free, while earning points redeemable for some of the coolest prizes and opportunities that you wouldn't believe. If you haven't downloaded the Global Citizen app already, I don't know what you're waiting on, and you don't know what you're missing. 3, roll out the revolution. Passion incites action. Allow your art to be your weapon and your healing. Passion is powerful, but there's always a why. We have to educate on why we are fighting and for what, but also how. Everyone has a role to play. The more connected and involved you become, the more organized. You will find your place, all the answers as to why and how. Once educated, organized, we take action and mobilize. From running for the offices, obtaining the degrees and positions, protesting, to amending policy, from art and expression to a revolution. Speeches become sermons. Songs become sacred. Protests are history in the making, poetry, and our right to freedom of speech and expression. 4, unapologetically encore. Never give up. Oppression is relentless, so the encore must remain persistent. Remember your why and understand that you may have to be willing to endure discomfort in order to gain justice. Don't allow yourself to be silenced or gaslit. Take care of yourself first, but never stop showing up for others. Never stop sharing. Never stop writing, creating, connecting, organizing, protesting, fighting. Don't ever give up hope, and always fight for what is right. When the dust of time, of today, settles into the history of the future of tomorrow, will we be remembered as the ones who turned away, or the generations who rose, reclaimed hope, and dared to rebuild a world worth inheriting? Our anger is sacred. Our love is revolutionary. No justice, no peace. Enough watching from the sidelines. Enough silence. Enough survival. This is our moment to move, to organize, to speak up, to show up, to never back down. We're not asking for change. We're creating it. This is the encore of every freedom cry that came before us. The revolution lives in every one of us. Be the change and bring the encore.